Ladies, gentlemen, and others, welcome back. There we go to the 2020 version of the Link to the Past Spoiler Log Randomizer Tournament. My name is Sportif alongside Clear Mouse. We got ourselves a 3-3 matchup with hydrapower and oneup40. How's it going tonight, Clear Mouse?
I'm doing great. These are two very competitive runners. Very much looking forward to this match.
Absolutely. Has had the best luck later in the season, going by their schedules, but both are definitely going to want to try and finish this bit out on a win. So we've got 10 seconds here for the countdown. Hydrapower using the regular Link sprite oneup40 as Bowser, and we're off.
Oneup, thinking he wants to start in Link's house or Bowser's house.
Thinks again of it. That's a free 5 seconds for hydrapower. And then, you know what? That has mattered before.
Looks like both runners are headed to, Hydra's going to Lost Woods. oneup is taking a slightly different route to the Lost Woods. Oh, maybe Hydra wants some resource farming first. Bush Crab is giving us 20 rupees. That's really nice.
Money.
Yeah, early rupees, especially for resources, is really nice. You can buy bombs. You can afford, in this case, you can afford bottle vendor. You can, farm up some money for Zora. Looks like hydrapower is going to take a little bit more time to farm up some more resources. The bush crab not quite being
blocked by the crab process. But he got 200. It looks like he's happy there. oneup was able to get 100 out of a different bush crab in the Lost Woods, and he's got himself a bottle off the mushroom spot to start.
It looks like the bottle has a good bead in it too. So if oneup wants to sell that good bead to the bottle owner, he will get another 100 rupees.
There is the hook shot, also from the Lost Woods.
Of course, paying off here for us, both literally and potentially figuratively as well.
Exactly.
Alright, so hydrapower has a bit of a rupee lead, but a little bit of a time deficit going into Kakariko Village. But of course, this kind of difference, the lead will change very frequently for these runners.
Especially runners of this caliber, because they're going to be, this is the kind of race, despite the 3-3 record, that's probably going to be won and lost at the margins. Who gets better boss fights? Who gets better movement through rooms as oneup finds the bow?
I mean, for these runners to be 3-3, it's actually very surprising, and it's very misleading. As you mentioned, both these runners didn't quite have the best of luck in terms of opponents to get them some more wins. So it's this definitely should be a good show. I see hydrapower picking up his bow, heart piece. In addition, looks like oneup is definitely more of a cherry picker here. For chess, finds the hammer in the well.
And the moon pearl at the bottle vendor, which explains the early money.
Okay, so it looks like we just need one more glove for Dark World access. oneup with some very efficient money resource management here. 100 rupees for the pearl and 50 rupees for bombs. Yeah, and we see hydrapower indeed selling that good deed.
So Ice around the back of the tavern is going to end oneup's route, and he's going to go south.
Alright, looks like correctly wanting to start in Link's house this time around.
So the next money spot, if it does come up, well, it will come up later, is going to be Palace of Darkness. They're going to need 110 rupees to take care of that. One up making their way to Mini Moldorm Cave to start. Hookshot, the ideal weapon for these little buggers.
Yeah, I would much rather prefer hookshot versus any other weapon. You know, such as a hammer that these guys both have. Alright, heart container, mushroom, and a lot of money as well.
Well, there we go. So barring the Zora trip, that should take care of the money for the rest of the seed.
And they also certainly have more than enough for the digging game and the chesting that they needed. Yeah, speaking of Zora though, you know, after this mini Moldorm Cave, Hydrapower will have 500, whereas 1UP will be about 200 rupees short. So if there's something on Zora that 1UP wants, then he'll have to find 200 rupees somewhere else. Could be here in Houlihan. It looks like he is interested in taking that mushroom to turn it in. Oh, we have some divergence here. Hydrapower is choosing not to turn the mushroom quite yet. It looks like going north.
I actually think Hydrapower
Oh,
is
you're right. You're right.
He's just going to take a different route to get there.
Yeah. This is more of a classical cross keys start. Typically, you would start from Mint's house, but you would use the same portal to go to the mushroom spot. Sorry, the potion shop.
The potion shop. So 1UP finds the glove at the potion shop. Hammer Glove and Moon Pearl is Dark World access, so if he wants to, 6 minutes in, he's ready to go. Looks like he has a little more work to do here in the Light World.
Yeah, perhaps backup escape. Pit stop.
Flipper fine for 1UP. Hydrapower using some of that extra cash to refill on a refill a blue potion.
One up, making his way to, looks like the Eastern Palace area. Does not look like we're going to head to Eastern quite yet. Maybe there is something in pod.
Well, Eastern being dependent, both runners are going to hope that they will not have to visit the place at all, so. One of the features of the Spoiler Log Tournament is the tracker. The Hydrapower is going to make their way up to the Zora area. They don't have the cash for the item, or they don't have the cash for the item on King Zora, but I think we see why he's here as the lamp shows up on Zora Ledge.
Yeah, certainly looks like no more dark rooms to Hydrapower here. 1UP earlier was, I think, being a little bit stubborn with trying to fend off some enemies so he doesn't get hit with Kiki with the hammer, but makes his way through into pod. But with the hammer and the bow and this being crystal, he is certainly happy and probably most likely will clear this dungeon. He will have, if there's anything in the back, he will be probably at a slight disadvantage to Hydrapower when he comes to pod with the lamp, and you will have to do dark runs here.
Right, really the big problem, I think, is going to be Dark Turtles. In terms of what 1UP's going to have to do to get through this place.
Yeah, so dark turtle room usually isn't as bad if you have at least a fire source, such as the fire rod. If you don't have the lamp. But given that we don't see the fire rod yet, oneup will have to probably be a bit more resourceful.
So oneup40 taking advantage of the fact of the dungeon providing going to that mimic room without any arrows, but there's always a 5 under the pot if you need it. Question in chat, where is the current divergence in the route? Hydrapower played a little safer in terms of getting money early, bought himself a food potion, and he also went to Zora Ledge to get the lamp. So that is the current difference in time.
oneup making some pretty good usage of that hook shot to try and increase his mobility. Certainly the lead, quote-unquote, right now that oneup has is pretty minimal here, so we can change anytime. So any amount of time savings he can do, it will certainly be an advantage for him. And unfortunate, consequence of not having the mirror to route up pod means that you still have to probably take a couple extra loops that you don't normally take. oneup also
showing started the nuisance to get around with the mirror, much less without it, and without the boots to do any of the fancy bonks around. So you just have to walk the place out and make sure you get to everywhere you need to go.
All right, our first dark room venture. oneup is trying to find his way in the dark room with the hook shot, finding what a nice coincidental mirror that we were just talking about. That will certainly make the rest of his pod routing a little bit easier. I can certainly understand why he chose to try and get that item first with that.
And there is the sword out of the Harmless Hellway, and oneup appears to be done for now here in the Palace of Darkness.
Interesting. So looks like he wants to come back to pod.
Well, with the mirror in hand, Saha's hut is available. You can't get that far in. I think you have to mirror at the door.
Hey, we got ourselves a Master Sword. So Master Sword fights, for Helma is certainly nicer than a Fighter Sword fight with Helma. Oh, hey, it looks like oneup is actually going straight back. Oh, that is actually really interesting. I guess I'm curious. Maybe it is faster to, in this case, go to pod first. Do a bunch of stuff and then mirror back out to try and get the Master Sword and then go back, as opposed to going to Saha's closet first.
I'm honestly not sure, because I think oneup kind of did that route the only way you could, that split pod up. Whereas Hydra is probably going to get the sword after all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And Hydra's headed straight to the back, but with the lamp in hand, he's free to bash the turtles at his will, because at least he can see them.
Yeah, so going into the basement here, we will see oneup have a sword advantage as we just see him purposely pick one up to come back to pod 4. But hydrapower here will have the lamp for his advantage.
Another nice bit of routing is Hydra's going to use this boss kill to walk back to the front door and then go to the back. Actually, wait. No, he already did everything in the back. I got sideways. So no, he's just gonna kill the boss and get going.
Yeah, we see that very nice magic pickup being used to enter just enough for that one ice rod shot to hit the switch. So we certainly do see Hydra here with the lamp advantage going through the Turtle Dark Room significantly faster.
oneup is still kind of bashing his way around the place, trying to find everything. There are six little guys in here that you got to flip over and smash to bits. I think he's out of it though.
Looks like that there's at least one more that he's trying to find. I mean, Hydrapower has made his way to Helmasaur, trying to extend the hammer tip box there with the fighter sword. Looks like he's just gonna use the bow. Yeah, certainly with fighter sword, I don't blame him.
Yeah, that was a good bow fight too. He was able to get Helma to kind of sit there and not really do much.
Oh no, oneup! Oh no! Yeah, I think that was like a rogue fireball.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, those things don't do too much damage on green mail. This is slightly under powered here. Like as compared to when you would come here with MG. But I think because he probably got hurt too much in the turtle room, he didn't have as much safety or health.
The real bad news is oneup is going to have to do the turtle room again.
You bring up a very excellent observation. I mean, this for Spoiler Log race, the risk versus reward here, it goes through every player's mind, and probably for oneup, he thinks that taking the extra detour to go pick up the lamp, probably, he could probably, live without it. But yeah, like if you have to end up doing probably Dark Room again, that's not super comfortable. It certainly could make you think that the lamp was more worthwhile. Alright, so with
if Hydrapower watching, he's got to be feeling good about his position now. He went ahead and picked up an extra bottle and a boomerang out of his closet. And he's headed for Swamp Palace.
Yeah, mirror and hook shot. Looks and 6 potential items here.
Hydrapower showing off one of the oldest bits of tech in the game, the mirror mash to delete blocks. Allows you to hit the damage in one room. oneup back down to 2 hearts.
Looks like he did make it through this time around.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, there's the block push to go through the stairs.
Oh no, down to 1 heart. Oh no!
Down to 0.
These turtles, they are really not giving oneup an easy time here.
This is a lengthy pause.
Yeah, looks like oneup is considering his options.
It looks like he's headed for the lamp.
Yeah, we see, meanwhile, on Hydrapower side, kind of making his way through Swamp Palace. Unfortunately, I did not catch if he ended up picking up anything important, but it looks like at least this chest here is something of value.
We haven't seen anything yet, but the south loop down here to the compass chest is gonna show us something. The Titan's Mitts.
Those are probably pretty important. So we do see Hydrapower deciding to not try, I guess, like this version's of Diver Down, just gonna drain the water as the more classical approach to the back of this dungeon.
Right, without the Candace Amaria, the Diver Down trick that normally gets used would require a bomb in order to blow you into the wall to make the trick work. The problem is when you only have 5-6 hearts, you're really not interested in giving up any of those hearts. So there's no reason to do anything except play it normal and head to the back.
Alright, so as you predicted, oneup has decided to get the lamp, and then most likely he will go back to pod. So with the Master Sword in hand and the hook shot, this looks like it will be, unfortunately, 2 swipes per puff. Hydrapower can try and hook multiple puffs and try to do a sword spin. That is somewhat, more difficult in terms of execution. And, based on, one feature of the spoiler log races is that not only do the runners get to watch trailer streams, they can also watch the restream. And so I certainly have known Hydrapower to be aware of where his opponent's positions are. So he could certainly be basing his boss fights here, on, how far ahead or behind he is.
He almost got the one cycle with the Ice Rat. That's really difficult just because the Ice Rat's timing is pretty different from the Fire Rod's. But he got out there. And it's going to have Crystal number 2 to his name.
Given how much overworld these guys have had to walk around, it does make you kind of miss the boots. Alright, oneup is back in pod. Looks like he can just, in this case, go straight to the back. Almost straight to the back. Probably looks like he can just take the middle door. In terms of equipment, he hasn't really had too much extra change. Mainly he just has the lamp. Certainly he'll go through the dark rooms, much quicker and easier. So my guess is that probably on 4 hearts, or at least 6 hearts, Master Sword, arrows, and hammer, like this is a relatively comfortable fight for him. Relatively speaking, of course.
Right. I mean, it's going to be the same as Hydra's fight, because there's the Quake Medallion, and Hydra is done here in the front of the escape.
Hydrapower showing us that once you have the mirror, it is certainly much faster to mirror out of Sank instead of walking out. It's one of these just like little minor time saves that really does show you what kind of how much practice and experience these runners have.
Yeah, the game knowledge some of these guys have when you get to the real high level. Faraime, Gerdo, these 2 guys, despite their records, I mean, there's just so many people that have so much knowledge and skill to play this. That's what makes this tournament so fun.
Yeah, spoiler log races definitely well reward players with very strong execution. And we see hydrapower, not Hydra, oneup conquering that turtle room with the lamp in hand, ready to face Helmasaur. All right, so we are up the mountain on hydrapower side. Oneup easily taking down Helmasaur. And really, you have to give a lot of credit here to oneup. You know, taking 2 deaths earlier in pod certainly could not have been, you know, super great for morale. And, you know, it was like, but, you know, he just basically went right on, got the lamp, recognized that that would significantly help him, went to go get it, and then came back and basically just had like a very, you know, smooth, you know, hell of a fight, basically as if nothing had happened.
Right, he's back on track now, at least in terms of going forward in the seed. It's just, in terms of the race, hydrapower is going to need to make a mistake, which can happen to anybody. So, you know, you play until the bot says the other guy's done. So, as hydrapower finds the K, on behalf of SpeedGaming, we'd like to thank Sackett82 for their 27 months of subscriptions.
Going to hydrapower, also using hookshot to make a somewhat minor time save here, trying to get through Super Bunny Cave. Game is very well designed here, so you can actually get through those blocks so long as the block is moving, it thinks that you can basically hookshot through.
Right, the block loses its solidity, so to speak. There's a better word for it, but I forgot what it was.
Permanence?
Yeah, permanence is good. Yeah. Hydrapower with a visit to Hookshot Cave.
The extra armor upgrade is certainly nice.
Definitely.
It's like it's something we want on floating islands. oneup using the same mirror trick here to erase that block to make a one-trip dive to Swamp here.
There you are, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fire Rod.
Okay,
which is one of the best weapons that you can get, really.
Yeah, so, you know, at 27 minutes and about 30 seconds, what do you think we need more for go mode here?
Flute to get to the Mire area, and Kane to beat Mire and TR. So we're really close to the end in terms of item progression. Hydrapower using some of that extra funds to get himself a red potion to tack on the blue that's in his pocket. Everything else from here would be nice. Boots would be nice. Silver sword, but Flute and Cane are the big ones.
Yeah, certainly if we can find a temper sword kind of along the way before Ganon, that would significantly speed up that boss fight.
Hydrapower doing something very rare in spoiler log races. Ice Palace without the Cane of Samaria.
Really makes you wonder where that Cane location is. Yeah,
and the reason we joke about that is because of the newish trick that was found a few months back as oneup picked up the bits. the newest trick that was found with the cane that allows you to clear a low wall and essentially turn the dungeon's puzzle into dust.
Yeah, the amount of time that Icebreaker saves is, you know, in the minutes range. I mean, it's not even close, you know, compared to, like, in this case, Diver Downs. It'll save you probably, you know, in the seconds of range, you know, like 30-ish to 40, you know, to a minute maybe. You know, but definitely Icebreaker, if you can get, if you're able to do that, it can definitely save you on the order of minutes.
OneUp does show off the bomb version of the Diver Down. A couple of tries, but he was successful in the end. Hydrapower working his way through the Jamiroquai room that you never see anymore, because now we get to see the original Ice Palace bomb jump that you never see anymore.
Yes, never. I can't believe we can't do the new thing that we have to find, or the new trick to break Ice Palace. We have to fall back on the previous thing that also broke Ice Palace.
The old muscle memory still lives, though. He got it second try, so.
Yeah, really. Thank you, Hydrapower, for showing us the more traditional way to break Ice Palace before Icebreaker. Oh, it's refreshing to see. OneUp on his Argus fight here. Looks like very similar approach to Hydrapower, also just pulling basically one puff at a time and taking 2 sword slashes. Also going to pull out that Ice Pod. Very clean Argus too.
Great fight. So that's crystal number 2 on the board for oneup40. Looks like he might have a change in. Actually, no. He should be headed to Death Mountain pretty soon to pick up that fire rod and continue his seed.
Oh wow! So on Hydrapower side, we dig out the flute, which was in the big chest of Ice Palace. Hydrapower dropping down despite the cold start. Didn't quite keep all of them in the corner earlier, but you know, he still has a manageable time and has that blue potion, you know, basically on guard here.
So oneup40 did not go to Death Mountain first. He ended up going to Thieves Town, making a quick pickup and headed back out. I didn't catch what he found. Did you catch it?
Oh, sorry. On what website?
Yeah, he went to Thieves Town, got one chest and left.
Oh, looks like according to our tracker, who is very generously, yes, Oddwalls, yes, graciously pushing the buttons for us to keep, you know, us honest. It is Bombos, which is certainly. It looks like it's not necessary for dungeon entrance. But you know, but having Bombos here versus Fire Rod can certainly help out OneUp here.
It does clean up one aspect of the routing, because I think with the Bombos there, he's going to be able to do the entire. Well, no, he can't do the Mountain one trip because he's going to need the Fire Rod to beat Skullwoods later. But Bombos is a good thing, is a good pickup anyway to help with this place.
Yeah, given that doesn't actually look like OneUp has any safeties in terms of magic refill or health refill. So like if he runs out of fire rod shots, the Bombo is considered like safe now in terms of match consumption.
Hydrapower sends the duck to freedom, and then calls him right back so we can go to the next location.
Yeah, it looks like no rest for this duck here. Speaking of the duck, actually a very recent randomizer update was released, and you can actually play as the duck as your sprite for this game.
Oh, the sprite makers in this community are so great.
As Hydrapower
not come with the automatic flute enabled.
Hey, yeah, speaking of, some good items under the rug here. Saw the King of Samaria right out of Meyer's shed.
So with flute and cane, that should cover all of the items we need to get through the rest of the game. Half magic on the desert ledge is a very, very nice find as well.
Yeah, half magic plus fire rod means very fast kills in Hydrapower's future. It certainly would have been nice to have, for Ice Palace. I certainly don't blame him for trying to basically, if he can do one trip right into Ice Palace and then just one trip over to the Desert Mire area.
And the Tempered Sword. So Hydrapower is very, very well stocked on gear now.
Yeah, I think unless there is something else that's probably directly in their path, like another armor upgrade or another sword, or most likely it'll be silvers, this is probably the extent of equipment that Hydra's going to get.
And of course, both runners, because they have the spoiler log, know where the boots are, so the boots are in the way that they're supposed to.
Excellent point.
We pick up the oneup40 as Hydrapower makes their way to Mire. We'd like to go ahead and at the 37-minute mark, go ahead and put everybody's links in chat so you can follow these great runners. Go ahead and do that right now. Twitch.tv/Hydrapower78 and Twitch.tv/oneup40. These are high quality runners. Definitely worth your follow.
In spoiler log races, as Hydrapower is making its way through Mire, I always want runners not to have to go through the vanilla big key chest, because that's probably the slowest one. I certainly hope that Hydrapower does not have to visit that today.
It's a bad sign. Oh, well.
Yeah. Maybe it's only on this chest, the Firelock side. Alright,
hey.
So we do see OneUp trying to take down Coldster here, actually hugging the north side of the room. And this is actually a small safety measure, actually, because you see those falling like ice blocks. If you stand on the top of the room and the ice block falls, it actually misses you. So it's slightly safer, I guess, to be up top. OneUp taking Coldster down relatively easy. Did not get hit, so it's a very, very impressive fight.
Hydrapower heads straight back with that big key. Looks like he's not interested in anything else in here.
a nice benefit of having sword beams too. You don't, when you do get the chance to have them, you can you don't have to actually place down a King of Smart block. You can just use it to hit the switch.
oneup40 showing some more of that overworld routing, using the warp southeast of Lake Hylia to get himself back here to the village to activate that flute.
It looks like as hydrapower is pulling out that cape, looks like he will try and sword slash his way in to Vitreous. No silver arrows means he can't get the super fast kill, but sword spins with tempered is probably just as well. It'll be a little bit slower, but it's certainly very fast, as we've just demonstrated on hydrapower side.
And 8 arrows into the big eyeball will do the job. Get hydrapower the red mail for further defense and the crystal number 4.
It's going back to Kakariko Village to say he's going to take the Dark World portal up and most likely clear Skullwoods at this point. With Temper Sword and Half Magic and Fire Rod and Red Mail and 8 Hearts, I think it should be this should be a relatively safe fight for him.
Absolutely. Welcome into the Raiders from SpeedGaming 4. This is the final week of the Spoiler Log Randomizer Tournament regular season. 3-3 hydrapower versus 3-3 oneup40.
Alright, looks like hydrapower doesn't want anything else in these chests. Heading basically straight down to Mothra. So it looks like at this point, oneup is probably a mire clear behind Hydra. Certainly not insurmountable in terms of a lead, because bad things can still happen. Not that we wish anything bad to happen with these runners, but accidents sometimes are not foreseeable.
If they were, they wouldn't be accidents.
Yeah.
Happy or otherwise. Half Magic could have burned all these Gyptos to the ground. Question in chat: what put oneup behind? The best way to describe it is that, is to just describe it. The lamp was on Zora Ledge with early flippers. So hydrapower went ahead and got it before a trip through the Palace of Darkness, and oneup did not. Oneup's taken 2 deaths to the turtles in the dark room. The fire rod's up on floating island, so that wasn't accessible at the time. And those 2 deaths in pod, and then a return trip to go get the lamp, has pretty much made up the entire time difference. It was a green mail's 5 or 6 heart attempt, so.
Yeah, I think the first time that oneup went to fight Helma, he was on 5 hearts. 5 total hearts, we only had 2, I guess, like working hearts. He took a rogue fireball hit, so he died. Yeah, and then he went back the second time to get a heart container from the basement. But then I think the turtles also kind of got to him, and he. I don't think he actually made his Helma sword, but the second 2 times.
Second time he did. You're right. Yeah, it was 1 death to Helma and then 1 death to the turtles.
And certainly, I actually think that oneup, did the right thing in this case to go back and get the lamp, because he still has Mire Dark Rooms to get through. If he didn't have that, this would have been, I think, even more challenging. So that lamp really was worth it, in my opinion, worth the investment.
That's kind of the blessing and the curse of these spoiler log races. You can take as many chances as you feel comfortable taking. And for some runners it works, for some runners it some days it just doesn't, and that's been the difference in the race so far.
Yeah, oneup is a runner that is certainly incredibly capable of doing every single dark room in the game very well. Is just sometimes you still just can't control enemies' movements, especially when you can't see them and they're turtles. Like trying to control dead rocks, it just doesn't happen.
oneup has to play a little more conservatively, not having the cape out of Paradox Cave, and not having the blue mail out of Hookshot Cave.
So very good use of arrow resource management here, making sure that he has enough arrows not only for the small eyes but also for the big eye at the end. Alright, so we did see Hydrapower making his way up to Dark Death Mountain. Looks like Turtle Rock will be his 6th crystal. So most likely what will happen is he's going to clear Turtle Rock and then clear Hera, Mirror to clear Hera, and then Mirror right back to clear BT.
oneup40 does have a couple options from here. He can beat Turtle Rock on this trip up if he's interested.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I guess like runners did have to make at least 2 trips up the mountain. Because the fire rod is here and Skull Woods requires a fire rod to beat. But you are absolutely correct in that oneup can choose to clear Turtle Rock while he's up here.
Hydrapower headed to the chop room. Doesn't even need the iframes off the block, although he will pick up the powder here, which is about as valuable a safety item as the game has.
Yeah, if only we could have picked up the bug net somewhere along the way as well. Everyone, likes to, have potions in their bottles. For a spoiler log race, a fairy is pretty much just as good as a potion. Oh no, what up? I think as Gamma's putting out in chat, his observation is that oneup actually does not have
a second bomb to get
that he needs to get to the floating islands.
Well, this is him probably frantically searching the log for the closest one. Does Paradox have one? Does Hookshot Cave have one? And this is going from bad to worse. Hydrapower got the big key out of the lava chest. He'll skip the big chest. And yes, we can report that oneup40 has forfeited from the race.
certainly, I would say a very valiant run up to this point by oneup. And there were just like some really pretty unfortunate things that happened to him like on this run. We do see hydrapower making his way to Laser Bridge. Unfortunately, it looks like the key layout does require him in order to at least get this last key off. Can't skip it, unfortunately. Putting that cape to good use here.
Yeah, hydrapower has everything you want to make the rest of the scene as easy as he wants. Hydrapower headed for the Trinex fight. Gonna hack down the Firehead after a couple ice shots. He forgot to pause before that last sword swing though, so he's gotta wait out the ice head. Trinex is the boss where what I'm about to say is the most apparent, but anytime a boss dies, or in this case a portion of a boss dies and all this fire is off, you can't use the menu. So if anything you want to switch to beforehand, you have to have preset up before you get that partial kill. And there is the actual final boss kill for Hydrapower in crystal number 6.
And another heart container for good measure. Alright, so with his 6 crystal in hand and in the Dark World, looks like Hydra will make his way to Tower Para. So I am interested in knowing what Hydrapower is going to do here, because in one of the earlier weeks of the Spoiler Log race, he was in this situation. I believe he was against Farame, and there was a very tight race at the time, and they needed to complete Hera, and Farame took the lead eventually because Hydrapower did not know the boostless setup of Herapot. I'm curious to see if he has made any more progress towards this time around.
So question chat, why is the lack of bombs at that spot oneup stopped at the problem? It takes 2 bombs in order to break the 2 walls to get around to the spot on top of the floating island where the fire rod is. So he went in with 1, he blew up the first wall, and then realized that he didn't have a second one. And knowing the way the rest of the seed has gone, he probably decided that that was it.
Yes,
Hydra is not doing Herapot at all.
Yeah, we actually see Hydrapower in chat here. Please say hello and wish him luck for the rest of the run. Reading his previous comments here, it looks like he is fully intending to do coffee break here.
oneup40's joined the Twitch chat. Sorry guys, tried to come back, but looks like it ain't happening, and I am absolutely starving. So in terms of dinner percent, he will beat Hydrapower to the punch.
The true race of tonight.
Now he mentions I'm kind of hungry too.
Alright, so we see Hydrapower making his way the most likely developer intended way of beating Hera. Doing the basement, getting the big key, making his way up.
Moldorm, on the other hand, will not know what hit him because he is not confused his opponent having a hammer and a much, much stronger sword.
Yeah, so one slash and one spin should do the trick. Oh my gosh. Alright. Yeah. Moldorm's getting a little close here. Thankfully, you know, Hydra does have the sword, so it's a lot more defensive than just having a hammer. Sometimes Moldorm would just kind of come out at you from nowhere and knock you right out. Alright, with Hera cleared, his 7th crystal, and a Dark World portal immediately outside of GT, Hydrapower is able to take the absolute shortest path to Ganon's Tower.
Which means it's time for the world's fastest big key guessing game. Put on the location, because obviously the runner knows where it is, so the count is useless.
I mean, technically, you know, it's probably like 1 or 2, right?
Right. Or you can guess 1 and be right half the time.
So that's at least good news, is that the big key is not on the court, which means boots are not required. Yeah, in terms of exact location, looks like it's currently not on the right side. Scalpel's room, picking up a shovel as well in Scalpel's room. And leaving GT, what is he doing?
He did say in chat he wanted to show us something, so...
Alright, Hydra, all eyes are glued on you. What would you like to see? What would you like for us to see? I see purple guards on Hydra's side.
In fairness to Hydra, what's here is pretty darn important.
What great logic this seat had for you to be able to get the boots. Oh man. If hints were turned on for these races, and I didn't have the spoiler log, and then I read or saw that the boots are in the light world, and then I figured out that this was the location in the light world, I would be pretty upset. Right?
Or one of those like, sure, the boots are in the light world on the tablet with the book somewhere nowhere somebody wants to say. Chat brings up, yes, we can do Desert Palace. Well, we won't, but we can. This is actually the best part. Because everything was in the light world, the portal's still here. So we're jumping right back in.
And of course, with the boots, Hydrapower does not have to do any boostless rooms. really putting that cake to good use here. With Half Magic, he has a lot of options at his disposal. You know, despite having the booth here, Hydra still didn't want to dash the cannonball room. I certainly don't blame him. But with the boots, though, the gauntlet room should go a little bit easier than without the boots. I see Hydra is trying to go fast here. Always really amazes me how these runners can type in chat and still execute very well into these rooms. Alright, see hydrapower pulling out the fire rod here. This is the one hit kill everything mode. And with Half Magic, fighting Lambo here, it should be 2 fire rod shots, which are plenty also for this fight and whatever we need for the upper levels of GT as well.
Yep, so spin and then burn the rest of it down. It's going to get Lambo 2 out of the way. Headed to the most satisfying room in the game, which both 1 and 2. One Cancer Mario Blast takes out all those suckers. And 1 Cancer Mario Blast takes out 3 of the 4, and then the Sword Select takes care of the last one. That room is so much fun when you get it right.
That's gonna make you wonder, you know, so do those guys just like keep appearing and reappearing, like even when no one's in the room? Or do you think they just do that, you know, when Link comes in?
I mean, yeah, they're probably just sitting around playing cards. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of visitors to this place. We can't take chat bringing up silvers. We can take guesses on the silver arrows if anybody's interested, or our track and give it away. Yeah, they were left side Swamp Palace. I mean, you didn't have to go to Swamp, so you know it was pretty. If we weren't able to find a better sword, then yeah, I can imagine taking that left side trip to go get silvers.
For what kind of equipment they had when they were at Swampu, it means that they do left side, and not sure how much time the silvers would save overall, especially when you didn't have the boots as well. Like it would take. You would have to go really pretty much out of your way to get silvers, and then at that point, I'm not sure like how much time you would have still been able to save, given that you've already invested all that time to go to left side swim to get the silvers. What an amazing Aga 2 fight from Hydrapower! Double, triple, very nicely done.
Amazing.
He's like good at this game or something, right?
So I've heard. $63-35. It looks like Hydra's going to be dropping in again and fight. Looks like, well, he'll be dropping again and fight eventually. There we go. 63-43, dropping in again and fight. Tempered, silverless, so this is pretty much the NMG fight with a couple less hearts and red mail. This should be pretty academic from here.
Yeah, certainly with red mail, you can certainly afford to be a bit more reckless when trying to face Ganon. And with half magic, he is not under a lot of pressure to get torch glitch, although he does have the lamp out. It could also just be much easier on timing in order to get torch glitch with the lamp.
Yeah, Silverless without the torch glitch can get out of hand pretty quickly, just because of how many things you have to manage, which is what makes torch glitch invaluable in terms of the fight.
I think sometimes runners, even when they have silvers, they start this fight and then they accidentally do silverless hits because they're just so used to doing silverless. Hydrapower is getting some very nice triples here. Hydrapower is telling us she's going to be here in a minute. It has to take a whole minute, Hydra? Come on! Alright, with the last silverless hit on Hydrapower's side, he is going to wait through that fanfare, and then walk across that bridge, and then he's going to call his run a success.
Alright, Hydrapower finishes in first place with a time of 1:21:01, which includes the 15 minutes of study time. So the in-game time of 1:06:01. GG's to Hydrapower, GG to oneup40. Despite the trouble he ended up having, it was still a good performance, and we're going to get Hydrapower into the booth shortly.
Yeah, both these runners put on a very excellent show.
And OneUp is actually in here.
OneUp! I'm so glad to see you here, actually. GG's. Really sorry about kind of like the early unfortunate incidents that happened in the scene. You did great.
Yeah, I definitely made some dumb decisions there. Yeah, sorry to bail like that on y'all, but yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, it just wasn't going well. So,
I mean, that's the kind of high-risk stuff that you see, though. It's like the lamp's in a not great spot, so let's see how far we can get without it. And sometimes it works, and today it just didn't quite work out for you.
yeah, part of it too is originally, I picked up that bottle when I got whatever that was in Lost Woods. And the original plan was to grab a blue potion when I got the glove, and I sort of forgot about that, so that didn't help at all.
Yeah, that makes sense. That one of the parts of Hydra's route that worked out for him was that it was a gold B in the first bottle. So he used that to essentially wipe out the bottle vendor purchase. And with that 100 rupee savings, he was able to get a blue potion out of the now empty bottle. So GG's to Hydrapower. Great job on the race.
Thank you very much.
GG's Hydra.
Yeah, GG OneUp. Sorry about the mishaps there. So OneUp was talking about the lamp before in the IRC chat, so I imagine you did not go to get that from Zorledge?
No. Yeah, I kinda, I don't know, I routed pretty aggressively. Yeah, tried to power my way through it, and didn't work out too well.
Yeah, I figured it was pretty dangerous. I mean, it's not impossible, but I didn't really want to try it. I felt like it was early enough and I get enough use out of it later that it would be okay to go do that. And so it worked out. It really, mitigated the danger of dark pod by, with like 6 hearts green mail, I think at that time, or maybe even less hearts. So yeah, that was a play that I think worked out. And I guess you must have run out of bombs here in Hookshot Cave from what I'm seeing here on the stream.
Yeah, that was just another silly mistake. I went in there with I think like 3 or 4 bombs, and then I managed to. Well, I was a little aggressive and tried to plan it a little early, and like shake my way over the invisible bridge while the bomb was counting down or whatever. I fell off the first time, and then the second time, I'm not even sure what happened. I thought it was close enough to explode, but apparently I missed through it. And then
Really
I realized I didn't have another bomb for the back. I could have gotten another one out of TR, but yeah, I mean the race was pretty far gone at that point.
I did peek when I was activating the flute, and it looked like I had a slight advantage, or maybe I think it was actually after Misery Mire, and it looked like I had a slight advantage there. And I was worried about the fact I have a history of Harapot in this tournament that has not worked out for me because I am exceptionally lazy when it comes to learning new tech, and did not learn Harapot without boots. And I had a really bad time with that against Farame. That was basically the reason I lost. And then I tried to do it against Salty Fry with boots, and I failed it like 3 times, and then had to do the walk of shame up the tower instead. And then, of course, today we have boots essentially in Ganon's tower, and we have the big key downstairs again. I'm like, this is like a 1% chance of happening. What is going on? Now it's happening again. So here I am thinking, like, do I try it, or do I just eat the time loss? Do I have enough time? And then you forfeited, so then I didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I've got good news for you, because that makes 2 of us that haven't learned how to do it without boots, or not well at least.
I mean, I think I know the pixel I'm supposed to line up on. Like, basically, the setup I use with boots is just to bonk into the peg, and then wherever I land is, plays a bomb to the left. And now I kind of paid attention to which pixel that is, so I think I would have it, but, I mean, who knows in the heat of the moment if you can do it or not. But hey, since, I didn't have to worry about it, I decided to have some fun and go show everybody where the boots were, which was a really stupid place, but I figured, well, let's have some fun with it now, so...
Having the boots for GT is fun for everyone involved, right? It's fun for us watching, and it's fun for you to actually get through GT.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it at the time, like I was going to climb GT and then leave the pyramid and go show everybody where the boots were, and then I'm like, no, do it now, you dumbass. So you can have the boots then, and then you can climb GT with them. So then I remembered at the last minute, I'm like, hey everybody, let me show you. So, yeah, but obviously, if it was a closer race, there'd be no chance for that, because they just wouldn't save that kind of time. But, with the pressure off there, I felt like having some fun with it. So it's the same idea as like bringing the Smith to the Ganon fight, just for fun. So we were just viewing it up here.
So I guess I'm curious for both of you. When you guys were both in Swamp, do you guys give any consideration to getting silvers?
No, not with that kind of time investment, especially because you don't have the boots then either. It would just take way too long, and the other bow was available more freely, and I didn't think there'd be any real chance of doing that. I had the cape for Vitreous, which is probably the only other boss that you really need silver, or that you'd want to have silvers for besides Ganon, and so there was just basically 0 consideration for that. So
yeah, same. Like with them being all the way on the left side, like even with boots, it wouldn't have made up the time loss, because I think it's like 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes, even with boots. And then Swamp is just so slow without boots, like walking through all that water and stuff. Yeah, it would have been a really hard call to actually go there and get them.
it'd be a more interesting decision to make if you only had Master Sword, then I think probably it would be worth it. Not only against Ganon, but also Vitreous then too. But again, that's a really hard call to make. I mean, we've seen people in this tournament leave the boots behind on left side swamp because they aren't technically required, and you know, it's just one of those like really hard decisions to make. But in this case, since you had tempered sword, cape, and you know, just armor and stuff, it wasn't really a consideration. I think most people know how to do Silverless Ganon easily enough. So, and you know, I also had I went and got the lamp too, which makes the Ganon fight even easier, because if you only have Fire Rod, you have to make sure you get the torch glitch, and if you didn't get the half magic either from Desert Ledge, then you're in real trouble. So there was just, you know, a lot of other factors that, you know, weren't necessary to go get those silvers. So that's my thought on it.
Yeah, no, I mean that's really makes sense. Yeah, because I think we were also speculating, you know, whether or not you guys would get silvers because you guys were already kind of in the area, I guess, because you guys had to do swamp. I guess like one more question for you, oneup. So I guess in your early routing for Pod, so you ended up doing all of Pod, and then you left and you went to go get this. You went to go get the Master Sword, and then you came back. So like, was that intentional? Like, or did you kind of like do something on the fly?
Yeah, I actually changed that on the fly. Originally, I had planned to basically defeat or finish up Pod and then mirror on the way out. Well, because I couldn't stop on the way in, right? Because I didn't have the mirror. So the original plan was to beat Pod and then mirror and get that sword. Then kind of as I was going through Pod, you know, like reality of, you know, of how tough it was going to be, and you know how tough it was going to be kind of started to sink in. Like, and I saw that hydrapower went up to Zor Ledge to get that lamp, and I'm like, okay, that probably gives me the time I need to go grab that Master Sword. It'll make the Helma fight a little more manageable, and so I decided to go for it.
It kind of seems like it would make the Dark Turtle room even easier too, if you can get the right, you know, sort of RNG pattern with their movement, and you do the NMG spin there. You can probably take out most of them and make that room a lot less dangerous as well. I don't know if that was part of your consideration too, but it's just something I thought of just now when you said that. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, like the first time through, I think I got 3 out of 4 with the initial spin. I didn't have as much luck getting the top 2. Yeah.
Did using Ether at all cross your mind?
I think I did use it a couple times.
Okay, sorry. I think I'm probably. No, sorry. Oh, yeah, that's totally.
Yeah, I guess it's probably pretty hard to see when it's in the dark. So yeah, I did use it. But yeah, I mean, you have to turn them over in the first place, and it's kind of hard to tell if they're turned over, and you don't want to keep on menuing. So,
does that kill them, or does it just freeze them in place?
It seemed like it was killing them.
Okay. I forget all the different medallion interactions with all the different enemies. You know, I know some of them, but not every single last combination. So.
I don't know, maybe that's why I was having such a hard time tracking them down.
I don't know. I know that Quake will prevent them from turning back over again, even if you hammer right by them. But I'm not sure off the top of my head what Ether does. It might kill them, and I don't know that for sure. But
yes, I do believe that Ether, once they're turned over, Ether will kill them.
Nice. Good to know.
Any other thoughts from you guys? So I guess this is the last tournament match for you guys, at least in terms for the Swiss. Like any thoughts about the tournament in general? Like, you know, how you guys have progressed. I don't know if you guys did spoiler logs before, you know, this tournament, or this is, you know, kind of like a repeat, or this is like your favorite mode and you just wanted to keep running this.
Yeah, I did Spoiler Tournament 2019 and got bounced by Pink Kitty Rose in the first round, but I had a great time anyway because it was a lot of fun. Participating. I love spoilers. They're probably my favorite mode, tied alongside casual boots. Although I have hit them pretty hard over the last couple months, so I think I need a small break from spoilers for a little while anyway. But yeah, this has been a great tournament. I really like the format. I think it's been really exciting to see all these great players come out. And, there's been some really close matches. Of course, Spoilers is such a mode where, you have these really intense matches and they end up being really close between good runners and just little mistakes that you don't normally see from like a regular seed happen here, and they really influence the outcome as well. So it's just a lot of fun. I knew obviously we couldn't make it today. We were, both eliminated already, but I just wanted to see if I could get that winning record. I've had a really, really tough schedule. Like, I don't know if anyone's seen my schedule. It's pretty bad.
We were talking about, we didn't get to talk about it during the race, but we definitely talked about it, Clear and I amongst ourselves beforehand, that that's a kind of a murderer's row you ended up having to go through with there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that would have been really good for a tiebreaker scenario, but you just have to get the 5 wins, just do that, just win, right? It's easy. But no, it was a lot of fun to play against really good players. If you want to push yourself as a player, you want to play against really good players and see what they do. And I think Spoilers also is a really good way to maybe accelerate your growth as a player, because you get used to these low percent situations that you end up having to be in to be competitive. And once you get used to this, then regular rando starts to feel pretty easy. Unless you get like expert, swordless mystery or something like that. But I'm just talking like regular open mode or something. It really starts to feel pretty easy, combat wise and difficulty wise, and then it just becomes your routing philosophy and whether it matches up with the seed or not. But yeah, I've had a great time, and thank you guys very much for the commentary, and thanks to all the administrators and volunteers for putting it on. And I know we're going to have really exciting brackets, so I'll definitely be watching those. So thank you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed competing this year. Obviously, it didn't, quite turn out the way I hoped, but I still had a lot of fun. Yeah, like the spoiler format is pretty fun. Yeah, you get to put a lot more NMG type of things and things to use. Yeah, getting used to doing things with more low percent or whatever. Always is a challenge, so it's pretty fun. And yeah, looking forward to watching the brackets and seeing how those go.
Yeah, top 8 is going to be a really, really fun watch. So, see if that should probably take care of us for this evening. We'd like to thank the runners hydrapower 778 and oneup40. They did a great job tonight and throughout the tournament. Other than that, thank you, Clear Mouse, for joining me here in the booth. Hope you had a good time. You got any final words?
Yeah, no, thank you so much for the co-coms. It was fun. oneup and Hydra, it was always a pleasure watching you guys. I'm really glad that you guys participated. You guys had a really great set of runs. Obviously, both very talented and competitive runners, so certainly hope to see you soon in other tournaments and races.
So thanks to our tracker Oddwalls clicking the buttons for us, keeping us honest about everything. And with that should take care of us for tonight. There isn't any more spoiler log action tonight, but keep an eye on the schedule as the weekend continues for the rest of week 7, where we figure out who this top 8 is going to be. For Clear Mouse, Oddwalls, hydrapower, oneup, and all the Speed Game staff, I have been Sports Jefe. It has been a pleasure, and we'll do this again later. Saludos, amigos.